If you're an Uber driver, I want to hear something from you real quick. If you had to go back to the version of yourself on your first shift, your previous version of yourself, what would you tell them to do? Because a lot of Uber drivers have praise for the rideshare app, but many also have horror stories and would suggest you not touch Uber with a 20-foot pole. So today, let's revisit a question I posted almost a year ago from today. Let's talk about what's changed since and answer the question, is driving for Uber worth it in 2025? What's going on, everyone? Welcome back to the YouTube channel. My name's Key, and if you're brand new, pronounced Key in. And guys, I have a confession to make to all of you, because this is going to be a little bit shocking for some of you, and you may have already noticed it, but I actually haven't been driving for Uber as much as of recent. Okay, let me be more clear. I haven't taken a single Uber ride in almost 2 months. Okay, I can explain. Let me explain. So I have had a couple other specific video projects, one that has had to take up a lot of physical time that I can't tell you about just yet, but I'm super excited for y'all to see it, that have taken up my attention and have also paid me quite well to the point where I have not needed to do Uber as much. And thank God for that, because this is the slowest time of the year to do any gig app, specifically Uber. I remember from this time last year how horrible it was, so I'm really grateful for the opportunity I have. But again, you'll just have to stay subscribed and turn on the notifications so you never miss a new video, and more specifically that video when you come to see it. But I will say I have genuinely enjoyed driving for Uber less and less as of the last couple of months. And that comes down to a lot of different things, like the demand significantly decreasing, the Boost Plus, the bonuses, surge, quests significantly decreasing and becoming less and less prominent. And as you guys know, I am an Uber Premier driver, so I get a lot of premium ride offers and reservations. I haven't gotten a single Uber reservation offer in almost 3 months. It's been completely dry, to the point where I'm not even sure if Uber does reservations directly like this anymore. Like, I have no idea if I'm really like out of the loop or something, but I have gotten nothing. That's why I haven't been posting anywhere near as many shorts. I used to post like 2 or 3 a week, and I think I've had like 1 or 2 a month now, just because I have nothing to post. There's nothing to post about. There's nothing to talk about. And by the way, this isn't me being hateful to Uber as an app. I knew this was coming. I was prepared for this to come. I just don't really have any preparation in terms of content that I can currently use to replace it. Now, obviously, that's something that affects me directly, but I do know that across the nation, there are significant declines in people's pay, including a lot of the bonuses I previously talked about. So before we talk anything about Uber, let's talk about the alternatives that you have as instead of Uber as a gig app. So if you're adamant that you must stay in the rideshare world, you don't want to do anything else, then the only real other option, at least as of right now, is Lyft. And I currently can't drive for Lyft. I'm actually too young for Lyft. I got grandfathered into Uber's new 25-year-old age cutoff. I'm currently 23, so I got lucky there. And with Lyft, I guess I got another 1.5 years to wait, but honestly, I'm okay with waiting. But if you are willing to be a little more flexible outside of just rideshare, you do have food delivery options like DoorDash and, well, obviously Uber Eats. You have like package delivery with things like Amazon, and you also have like grocery delivery with something like Instacart. So it's also something that you need to ask yourself, do I like the alternatives over rideshare, and do they pay better? What are the rates? How much more supply and demand do I have in all of those regards? And you have to see what works best for you. Something else you also have to keep in mind too is that just like every gig app, all of these are going to need specific equipment in order to best maximize your time, energy, deductions, and also just your efficiency as a driver. So you're going to need something like a proper car mount. You're going to need something like a proper phone. You're going to need something like a proper charger. These sound like such simple things, but there are so many people that just don't have these things set up when they start driving, and it is a complete nightmare. So make sure you get yourself yourself set up with the right tools in your toolkit, even if it's just something as simple as upgrading your phone, I will have affiliate links through the YouTube shop and also in my Amazon affiliate link down below. If you decide you want to pick anything up from there, all of the purchases help me out massively. So I do get a cut of the affiliate revenue there. So it helps out the YouTube channel, it helps me out, and it helps keeping me making content. And especially if the demand keeps dying with Uber, it really helps me making content. So, you know, it helps everyone out. But beyond the smaller products, keeping coverage there, you also want to keep coverage on, well, yourself and your car. Because what most people don't even think about with Uber when it comes to insurance is, well, being properly insured. You see, most Uber drivers don't even have rideshare-based insurance. And to some of you, this is the realization that rideshare insurance even exists. But the good news for you is that it does exist. And one of the most prominent options for rideshare-based insurance is VOOM, because VOOM offers cutting down costs for your car insurance by up to 60%. So what's the difference between rideshare insurance and regular insurance? Well, VOOM's hybrid policy helps you save money by only paying for the miles that you're actually driving, and ensures you're covered when the Uber app isn't on or when you're waiting for your next passenger. And even in situations where the rideshare app's insurance would actually step in, VOOM is still there to fill in the gaps that are not regularly covered on commercial and personal insurance plans. And getting started is as simple as uploading an odometer photo and keeping your driver account synced, and you will get the best rates available under VOOM's usage-based model. In fact, I was so taken away by VOOM's auto insurance plan that I've decided to team up with them to sponsor today's video. So that way we can share the word about keeping your car insurance low so that you don't have to share any money for one-size-fits-all plans that don't benefit you. You guys can sign up and get your first quote today, or you can just sign up in the link in the description below or the link on screen right here to see how much VOOM can save you on your auto insurance. And thank you so much to VOOM for sponsoring today's video and helping keep drivers like myself covered through and through. So when it comes to the world of the gig economy, there's another major factor that you really have to consider, and that is the basic economic plan of supply and demand. Because even if one app pays way more than the other app, if that one app just doesn't have any demand and there's a lot of supply, you're gonna be fighting for a lot of other drivers for silver scrapes. And supply and demand is so important when it comes to the world of the gig economy and gig apps in particular, and as to why gig apps are so market dependent, because it really depends on what your market's supply and demand actually requires. Are there gonna be more drivers than there are gonna be people who are actually customers for a lot of these apps? If it's rideshare, if it's food delivery, groceries, packages deliveries, words. And something I've had to come to terms with in my own market personally is that the supply and demand has slowly but surely begun to even out, because in previous years, there was just not as much supply as there is nowadays. So I was getting tons of bonuses and bonus offers from Uber in terms of higher surges, in terms of Boost Plus, in terms of higher quests, and in terms of overall just what Uber had to offer me, especially with Uber reservations, which used to be the end-all be-all for when I was full-time as an Uber driver. So make sure you actually understand your market's supply and demand, so that way you can properly maximize whichever gig apps you decide to do at the end of the day. Even if it's not Uber, even if it's anything else, you're gonna have to understand supply and demand. And there's one final consideration, specifically with Uber, but again, with all gig apps. It's something that a lot of people don't consider until it's far too late. How much will driving for Uber actually cost you? And I'm not just talking about the literal costs. I mean costs in multiple ways. I mean, yes, we are going to talk about the literal cost because, yeah, you are going to have to spend money to make money with Uber, because you're going to have to make sure you fuel up your car, even if it's gas, EV, I don't care what it is. You're going to have to fill up your car in order to actually drive it. Not to mention maintenance, oil changes, keeping the car clean, so you have to get cleaning products more regularly, and just overall the quality of life for your passengers. You want to make sure they're having an easy time and a comfortable time in the back of your vehicle, so you're going to spend more money towards actually upgrading their experience as well. But when I say more than just one way for the word cost, what I mean is also the physical cost. Remember, if you're doing Uber in any length or capacity, you are sitting in a stationary position for hours upon hours at a time. That is gonna do a lot to your body. So I know it's such a cliche, but really seriously, when you get the time between rides, make sure you get up and stretch. Even if it's literally just doing this with your arms and legs, just a little bit, that's a lot. That's gonna be a massive difference for how you feel throughout the rest of your day, and that can boost your mood, which means it can boost your earnings as well. Because regardless of whatever rides or however much supply and demand there is in your market, none of it is worth sacrificing your physical health. So overall, with everything considered, is driving for Uber worth it in 2025? I can't directly answer that question for you, but if you want my answer, yeah, I still think that driving for Uber is worth it. And I know I've had criticisms of Uber throughout this video, very deserved criticisms, don't get me wrong, but Uber still has a lot of earning potential. It still has the potential for me to be more social, to actually meet people, to have conversations and stories with people, and that's such a beautiful thing to me. It's also something that, if we're talking about the physicality, other than the long-term consequences of doing it, in the moment, it's not the most physically demanding job in the world. It's sometimes, yeah, it's a little bit painful if you're driving for like 3 hours straight or something for a ride, but most of the time, it's honestly just a lot of fun for me. I like driving for Uber. I like talking to people. I like having fun experiences. And yeah, the pay really sucks right now. It really fucking sucks. So I'm very excited for the summertime when I have way more earning opportunities and also maybe more videos in the works around that time. But until then, I'm just going to have to keep optimizing my strategy for driving for Uber until then, because obviously I'm gonna have to get back on the road. I can't live without a job, or at least without a direct job in terms of source of income, which Uber has been for the last few years. I can't just leave that high and dry. I still have to go back to that. And that's why, again, I do recommend driving for Uber, because it has worked for me as an independent contractor and as a gig driver. So that's why I'm still able to recommend it to a lot of you guys. But of course, I want to hear it from you guys. Do you guys think it's worth driving for Uber in 2025? Let me know your pros, let me know your cons, let me know overall what you think of the Uber app and what Uber could be doing better, or what Uber does really well that other gig apps need to start catching up on. And obviously, leave your comments down below. Drop a like on this video if you've made it this far in the video to let me know that you've made this far in the video, and just help out the channel, help out the algorithm, tell the algorithm that this channel is amazing and it helps me out in the process. And if you really enjoy the content, obviously make sure you subscribe to the YouTube channel so you never miss a new video. But look, I could sit here and talk all day about Uber, but there's another gig app that I tried for the first time in over a year and a half, and that's DoorDash. I literally just tried DoorDash for the first time recently, and oh boy, was that an experience. I highly recommend, though, that you guys go check out that video in the top right, because it is a wild ride. I had so much fun doing it, but I think you need to see the outcome for yourself. But with all that said, that's it from me for today's video, guys. Thank you so much for watching, and stay cool.